Hello and welcome to episode 3 of Pitch Cafe podcast. What an amazing journey it has been since the first time we hosted the Pitch Cafe show, where a lot of youngsters were, in a fun way, roasted, toasted, and boosted with their startup ideas. And many of them got to meet amazing angel investors from Silicon Valley. Inspired by that, we started the Pitch Cafe podcast. And the sole aim of this podcast is to make talent meet coffee. When I say talent meet coffee, I mean to say we are in a very relaxed mood, but we are also making sure that every talented youth, every talented professional in a corporation, or anybody for that matter, has an ability to go to the next level. Today, we have with us a very special guest, Dharam Singh. He is not only an entrepreneur in the project management space, but he is also an investor in a few startups in Silicon Valley. The reason I brought Dharam Singh on the podcast is he has his own school of project and program management, and he is imparting these skills to youngsters and to professionals in corporations. Most people don't understand the importance of managing a project, whether it is in a startup or in a large corporation. My interaction with Dharam Singh in several social events got me to think about this question. If I do my startup project, if I quit my job and get into a startup, will I be able to accomplish it? How am I going to go about it? And when I thought about the question how, for me, the first thing which came to my mind was all those concepts which Dharam Singh talked about. So let's see how we can manage any project effectively by gaining project and program management skills. Without further ado, let's bring on Dharam Singh. Hi,
Thank you
Dharam.
very much. Hi, Vidya. Thank you very much for this nice introduction. Thank you for inviting me to your channel. I'm really honored to be part of this.
Awesome, fantastic. So, Dharam, tell us a little bit about yourself, your journey, how you came to be in Silicon Valley, how did you get into angel investing, and what is it that inspired you to start the School of Project and Program Management?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. So my journey goes back a little bit, probably 25, 30 years now, when I finished my engineering and got into, yes, there was some initial struggle, some later podcast, I can talk about that. And then I got into Steel Authority of India Limited, SAIL. And that's where my career started. Then in those days, thanks to Y2K, everybody was moving out of country, and especially being in IT. So I got opportunity to go to Australia. So I lived in Australia for around 22 years and learned a lot while working for many corporates in telecom, in finance, and in insurance, in infrastructure work, or whether it's IT work. I have touched almost every part within the IT side. When I'm saying infrastructure, I'm talking IT infrastructure, data center, backup, and all kind of things. So that's where I learned a lot. In that whole process, I also got thought maybe I can start my own startup. As I know teaching, I know about project management, program management. Why cannot I start mentoring other project managers? That is where I started my journey, and that started in 2009. And I started a company called VCare Project Management. And I'm proud to say now the VCare Project Management, or you can, my name is synonym to most project management, program management, or portfolio management certification programs. If you look for PgMP, Program Manager Professional, and Portfolio Manager Professional, most likely you will find somewhere my name at least. If anyway, so that's about my professional journey building my company. And while going through this journey, I have worked with many organizations around the world as a public program or corporate programs. And I'm glad to say the training we have provided and I have provided is helping a lot of professionals around the world.
So let's hold that thought there. You just mentioned, about your amazing journey and why you got into this project and program management. A lot of aspiring, job seekers will be watching this podcast for them, if you give them some sort of an idea, what is the job entail, project and program management one, and what are the salary ranges across the Australian or Indian or the California landscape, or the US landscape? What do you think about these aspects?
Yeah. So no, this is a very important question, especially people who's just starting the journey. And I got myself into project management in 2000. So my entry to the project management was accidental. You know, I was very good. As, they called me at the time software engineer. I was uh, given a reward that in actually 99 as the best software engineer for EDS. EDS is no more a name now, but it's now part of DXC and CSC. Some people probably know. So I was given a title as System Engineer of the Year. I was very good in system engineer as an engineer. Then I was given as a team leader position, and then soon I realized that I'm already in project management. I entered into project management with no previous qualification or learning, and there was a lot of. I mean, I was technically very good, but when it comes to project management, I was not very good, and that is where I think a lot of people who wanted to get into project management. Yes, you can. One is you can be accidentally you given a responsibility and figure out yourself.
Yeah.
That's what I was doing, and I learned in a hard way.
Right.
I had a team of 10 people, and I was my team called dedicated support team. So I was kind of always in the firefighter mode with the project which are uh, not big enough for a called project full project with 6 months or more, or not operations. So it was always in firefighting mode. So as a project manager, I was just jumping into the problem solving. No, I was not acting as a project management. I was acting as a software engineer myself. Then I was realized that actually I should pull myself out and let my team do the job, and I have to build them.
Yes.
That's where I start learning project management while going through PMI's certification program, PMP, Project Manager Professional,
Yeah.
and I learned a lot from that. I used to think that I wish I have learned before I entered the project management.
So let me stop you there. Can you give me one example where, with the tools you did better than without, like from your real life experience?
So without, one of the very important skill you need as a stakeholder engagement. So you can say communication. You need to build rapport with your stakeholders, and you need to communicate right message, right time.
Right.
So I was doing things as I learned from my school or my, whatever, and then realized that there's a better way to
Yes.
analyze the stakeholders
Yes.
and identify the requirement needs and respond to them in a better way.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And that's where my engagement with my stakeholder has changed drastically.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That is amazing thought, because it's not just applicable for inside corporations. Even startups have the same problem. Even school kids, when they're doing their annual projects or internship projects, they have the same problem. They're wasting a lot of time not asking the right questions when they have time. People travel, they have school work and they have this startup work. In between all of this, they don't have the intelligence to ask the right questions at the right time. So how did you figure out that the tool worked? Give me one case study, like, or case scenario.
Yeah. And you rightly said this skill is equally important to whatever you do in life,
Yes.
whether running a project,
Yes.
program,
Yes.
starting a startup,
Yes.
or maybe, engaging with your own family.
Absolutely.
It's
Absolutely.
everywhere.
Absolutely.
So having right mindset, first of all, identify your stakeholders as early as possible in the journey.
Yeah.
And you need to know who they are, what is the importance of each stakeholder, whether they are going to help me in the early stage or mid stage or later stage, and how can they help. Sometimes you think they are going to help you, but they may have some other agendas going on. So
Right.
understand them early enough
Right.
and have a stakeholder register, build a stakeholder register So you can know these are my stakeholder, have their phone number, email address, everything, and whether this is a CEO, this is an angel investor, and do some research by going to LinkedIn, do some Google search about that person, and also look at the, if when you go to LinkedIn, you can find the connections where he or she has worked. Try to do your own research. And why I'm saying that, because you can be more ready when you're meeting with this person
Absolutely.
about for the funding, for anything you have, when you need from this person, you know that this person is you can find out some information from media or from the LinkedIn, whether this person is detail oriented, or whether the person is picture oriented. So you can formulate your communication accordingly.
Right. So that being said, let's go back to the uh, previous question where we started. We had three questions and we branched out into this. So our users will definitely make sure they'll make a list of stakeholders, get their contact information. Nothing like having a hot button available when you work with large teams with whom you've worked or not worked before. Always have the hot button alive. Know your stakeholder, what they like. If they don't like email, don't email them, just call them. And like you said, keep communicating. You never know which stakeholder can do what. So amazing three lessons, whether it's you're managing an event or whether you're doing a startup or inside corporation where you're driving a project as a project leader, everywhere this is applicable. So let's go back to the other part, the money part. Like an aspiring fresh grad wants to take up a job in project management. He's not too technical, he's not too people centric, but he's somewhere in between. He likes to manage. What is the salary range they can expect, entry level and then later on going forward, in like you joined when you had a lot of software development experience? What is the salary range?
Yeah. So it's actually a very good question, and answer is going to be very, very vague. You talk to somebody, he or she will give you a different answer. But the question, the salaries are dependent on many factors, and I can give you a range. But the most important thing is, when whoever is hiring going to hire you, they
Yes.
want to find out if you are the best match.
Yes.
And if you have something rare skill, I call rare skill because if you are the specialist in that area, then you are in demand.
Yes.
If you are just another person with some IT experience, some other project management experience, or you did some university degree, then you are one of the million people. Then you are not in demand. So you kind of whatever you kind of I like to see that you are into a situation where you are demanding the salary. And I do understand when you're starting a journey as a fresh grad or from an IT work background, you're just getting into project management. It is not that easy. You need a stepping stone, the first step to start your journey.
Right.
So at the time, the salary may not, yeah, of course, we always look for the better salary and better facilities. But that may be, okay, let me get into this job first. And let me learn in the basic concept, project management, let me grow myself. Then you are in the situation you can ask from, internally for better salary, or when you go outside for look for another job, because of past experience and the learning, and you become specialized in particular area, then you can demand better salary.
Right.
So that's the one thing. But range wise, I lived in Australia for 22 years, as I said, and in US almost actually more than 2 years now, 2.5 years. And I started my career, my IT career in India. So I can talk mainly about that. But
Sure.
because I'm working with people around the world in Middle East and European countries, I might give you some indication on that as well. So let me talk about let's say the US market, and then don't quote me on this because I'm giving you the based on whatever I'm when I'm talking to other people, how accurate this is, and depends on many factors. If
Sure.
you're living in California, even in California, you're living in Bay Area, or or you in Dallas or some other places, the salary can change based on the living cost.
Right.
You may be given 80K or 90K in California, maybe 100K in California, Bay Area, but when you move to or you look for the same job in Chicago or Dallas or Atlanta, the salary can be different,
Right.
which is understandable. So you need to do your own research, what is the difference in the cost of living and how much I'm likely to get. And yes, so salaries for starting or graduate project managers or initial project I think you can expect somewhere from 70 to 110, 120K.
Depending on
Many factors, including the background. Maybe you have some technical background which can be useful in the project, or
the
you
value.
coming with experience working for other company, or you did interns with some other, some big brand name. So if you are that, then you can expect yourself somewhere in higher side.
So will the salary go up if you have an MBA? Like, do MBAs ever do project and program management?
Oh yeah. Many MBAs, and depends on the specialty you have. You may be finance, you may be, marketing or whatever. But I get lots of MBAs doing my program as a PgMP or PfMP, because one is they have expertise in the business administration, but now they look for how can I do my projects even better.
Yeah, so this is more a skill they're developing. It's like they have all the life skills. This is more a sophistication they're developing. MBA gives them number skills. So project management is more sophistication. Do it smoothly, right?
Yeah, so project management is all about what is my scope, what are my resources, what are the timelines, who are my stakeholders, what are the
Fantastic.
risk involved,
Absolutely.
what are the issues. So
Yes.
if you can understand, you can plan out all these things in advance.
Yeah.
Your journey, whether you're running a project in corporate world or you're starting a startup, all will matter.
Fantastic. Very well said. You covered many aspects. So let me look at it another way. Someone who can consider all these parameters and communicate with teams, give them action items, he has good project management skills. Can I say that?
Yeah, delegation is one thing. You can say there are people who are sitting in the reception, they can also do delegation.
Right.
Yeah, that's a very important part. But when somebody say I'm a project manager, I also like to see how good you are in risk management.
Mm,
Risk is something you can anticipate what's going to happen in future. If that happen, will I be ready? If I can be ready, let me have some money and time allocated for that.
right. Hmm.
So that's very important factor. And if there's a yeah, and another thing I already told you, that the communication part is very important. Keeping your stakeholder informed, giving the right information, right time.
Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. So this is great. So Dharam, do you recommend any? I know you have like an entire school for project management, but is there any recommendation of how someone can switch their role from technical role to project management, like a step-by-step process? Is certification the very first step, or is there a? How do you prepare for the certification? What is it you need to do?
So having certificate is great. That gives you, gives your potential, future employer a confidence that this person knows about the project management.
Right. Mm-hmm.
If I want to hire you as my chartered accountant, and you don't have any certification or degree around that, I will not have any confidence. You may say you can claim I'm the best chartered accountant and this and that, but people don't take this on word. But if you are certified, certified CA or whatever, or certified project manager, people
Right.
see you differently.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I think there are two things people can do. There are some bodies called, I can tell you, the one I'm associated with is PMI, Project Management Institute.
Mm-hmm.
They have lots of standards available.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are a student, you can actually join the PMI, and they have very good rates for students. And if
Mm-hmm.
you're a professional, you can also join. I think as a joining, you pay $129 plus $10 for $139 you can join. The advantage is you can download their standards,
Mm.
any of the book,
Right.
whether it's
Right.
talking about PMBOK.
Mm-hmm.
PMBOK is Project Management Body of Knowledge.
Right.
Whether you go for a certificate or not, you should start reading this, at least start learning the basic concept about project management,
Right.
about the tools and techniques which you can apply in your current project management.
Yeah, I think this is should be taught to everyone as a life skill. Like we learn math, we learn basic language. Project management should be made in a systemic in our education, because uh, most startup failures are badly run projects. If you analyze them, bad communication. When there is bad communication, there is bad understanding of product market fit, loss of customers, low traction. So the company is in the loss or the idea fails. Idea validation is also communication. If I look at it like that, so it's kind of like should everyone should know, especially after talking to you when you moved from technical area into project management. I just feel.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think this is one skill if you can build,
Yeah,
whether you're coming from any background,
yeah,
the project management is one of the skill everybody should get.
right.
Learn by uh, reading the PMBOK and doing some certification. And there are some courses available from universities. They are doing project management foundation or a master's class.
So
So
how are they different then from what PEMBOK is offering or PMI is offering? In what way are they different? The university
I,
curriculum.
actually, most of the even universities are based their curriculum from based on the PMI's PMBOK.
I see. But
I
what?
have worked for organizations like HP, EDS, CSC, IBM, and many others. So while they have very big names, but their project management methodology based on PMI's PMBOK.
Right.
So PMBOK is kind of very, very popular. Anybody in the project management knows about this. And before you enter into project management, make sure you have downloaded this book and you have learned the basic concept. And that will be very useful when you go for the interviews. Because
Right.
if I'm interviewing you as my potential project manager, I
Yeah.
like to see how you use those jargons.
Yeah. Exactly.
How do
Absolutely.
you do your risk management? How because I'm going to put you in situation. Hey,
Absolutely.
this is the situation, and how do you react? What do you do?
So it's also a great communication tool. When you're put in a situation where you have to lead the way, then you use these frameworks. If you've studied them, you can take the first step. You can make the first assessment and the first communication with your manager. And you don't waste time figuring out. It's already there. So use it, right?
Exactly. So they look and that the book is available readily available. PMI allow you to you can buy the book itself. If you don't want to take membership, I think it will cost you $99 or something, or maybe somewhere Amazon or maybe from my website, it's cheap, a little bit cheaper, and just download and you buy it and learn some basic concept and be ready for the questions. And
Awesome.
and
Mm.
the most important thing, when you read the concept, try to create your own project, maybe
Yes.
hypothetical project.
Yes. Very good.
And when you go through the topics by topic and see how, if I'm doing this project now, and how I'm going to utilize this learning to do my
Absolutely.
job better.
Absolutely. So I couldn't agree more with that. So Dharam, what is a good way for our audience to reach you to learn more about PMI uh, based on whatever life situation they are in, whether they are in school or college, or whether they are doing a startup where they feel they're stuck, their outcomes need to be driven. What is a good way to reach you?
So one is I have various training programs in project management, program management, portfolio management. And there are some programs which are applicable for people with no experience at all.
Mm-hmm.
They call PMI call it CAPM,
Mm-hmm.
Certified Associate Project Management.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you have no background in project management, you can get yourself learn about the project and learn from PMBOK and
Right.
do the exam.
Got it.
And if you have experience, you may not be called project manager previously, but you have running the project as a leading the project. If
Right.
you can demonstrate 3 years of project management experience, you can go for PMP certification. So
Okay.
currently, there are more than 1.2 million PMPs,
Mm-hmm.
and it is growing very, very fast.
Got it.
Uh, it is kind of a must-have certificate
Yes, I
for
think.
entering into the project management.
Yes. And not only that, it's a must have certificate anyway for anyone. If I'm buying a home and I'm making a move and I'm planning my next 8 months in that renovation and everything, I have a budget. I definitely need to work backwards and organize my life. So there's no second thoughts about it. So with that, so Dharam, I want to keep talking to you. You have amazing insights. I think it is coming from your uh, vast global exposure. You've lived in 3 continents, and now you are also funding a startup. Tell us a little bit about that.
So yeah, that startup was started sometime back, and this guy is coming with the beautiful idea of bringing the whole organization in one place.
Fantastic.
And you probably say, Dharam, we have Salesforce, we have Oracle's, an ERP or SAP, we have Microsoft product. All of them are great, but they are silos.
Right.
But and if you want to bring the information or data from one system to another, that's kind of spending millions of dollars and still not going to be perfect.
So you're creating a dashboard for navigating your organization, like a
Yeah,
dashboard. Yeah.
it's not a dashboard. It's actually bringing whole dashboard is one of the important feature it has. But other than that, you're running your whole project program portfolio along with your HR, along with your financials, along with your risk issues, compliance in same platform.
Fantastic. So this is great. And are you open to funding other startups, student startups, and other kinds of startups in this space?
So if somebody comes with a great idea, and of course, if it is along with my passion of project management, program management, or maybe something great, and I see the great value, and it will help you to get benefit out of that, and there's a good partnership in that. Definitely, I love to talk to them.
Fantastic. So, Dharam, what is a good email or contact for people to reach you, either for project management and program management guidelines, or for angel investing? What is a good way to reach you?
Yeah, so if yeah, I can give you my email address here. My name Dharam, DHARAM at vcareprojectmanagement.com.
Sure.
V as Victor and care projectmanagement.com.
Okay, fantastic. So, guys, reach out to Dharam at the contact he's given you, and also on social media if you can, and try to learn more about project and program management skills. This is a critical skill. Just like you need to know how to raise funding, just like you need to know how to build your MVP. How will you manage your startup? What are the metrics you need to look at? Where will you find the metrics? Who is the first stakeholder you're going to call? Whether it is go to market or whether it is product life cycle, you need these. This is like essential. They don't call it project management in a startup. Someone is doing this in a very scattered way, but it's something you need to do. So with that, I'm so thankful, Dharam, for your most invaluable 30-40 minutes you spent here. We will definitely bring you on. You're giving life skills to the youth and corporate professional, and also you're angel investing all the way from Silicon Valley and looking at startups all over the world. So certainly we will bring you on back. Before we part, do you have any message for the youth? One small takeaway which they can walk away with.
Yeah. So first thing, if you are contacting me, you got the email address, and make sure you mention Vidya's channel. I don't know what channel you called, so I can give you some discount of my training programs. The message I have, look, guys, it is a tough word, but if you are passionate, if you are determined, if you are visionary, nobody can stop you.
Yeah.
And make sure you create a vision for yourself. And sometimes it is difficult for others to understand you, but if you are connected with your vision and you are passionate about the vision, nobody can stop you.
Wow. Wow, amazing. My, I'm feeling goosebumps here. I'm sure everyone who's listening to this will feel the same when they are able to absorb your amazing message. Thank you, Dharam. Truly a visionary and truly a leader here on our podcast today. We thank you so much, and we'll certainly bring you on back once again. And have a wonderful day.
Thank you very much, and see you again soon.
Likewise. Thank you.